Hey, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? How we
Oh,
doing?
doing well. Doing well.
Awesome. Avery, I don't believe I've met you yet. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Good to meet you,
Okay.
man. How are you?
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Where are you based out of?
I'm in Colorado right now, but I'll be in Medellin very, very soon. So,
Oh, nice, man. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Good stuff,
yeah.
man. Molina,
How
I
about
think
you?
you were on last week, I believe. I don't know if we met yet, but nice to see you on here.
I wasn't able to join last week, but I was on the first one.
First one, that's what it was. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember seeing your name. Awesome.
Yeah.
Michael in here too. What's going on, man? How
Michael
have you
Girardi, dude, are we like related? Just
been?
someone mixed up our last names?
What's up, dude? Yeah, I saw on the first call we had a very similar name, so who knows? And you don't look too far off from me either.
I know. It's weird, you know what? But hey, maybe you're related to the baseball player and I'm not. You probably have some income waiting for you.
I can hope.
Awesome. Awesome. Valentina, good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see y'all. I'm excited to be here again.
Yeah. And also too, I saw your Instagram. Anyone who doesn't know, Valentina is an incredibly talented singer. So yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh my God, she's really good. So,
Thank you
well,
so much. That
of
means a
course.
lot.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, of
Are you
course, of
trying
course.
to are you trying to get on The Voice or anything like that?
I have thought about it, but just through like I'll just write for other artists sometimes, and I think that's kind of my lane is
Valentina's
not.
signed to a record deal. She's assigned to a record label. She doesn't tell people that.
I am, yes, I am. I
Awesome. Awesome. Perfect. And Liam, speaking of beautiful voices, how we doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yourself?
Doing well. Everyone heard that, right? He's a
Mm.
natural. Good to see you, man. Where are you at? You in Tulum?
Yeah, I'm back in Tulum now. Here for the next month in the palm trees, the white sand. Can't get any better than this.
Love it, man. Love it, dude. Good to see you, man. It's been I miss you having you here in Austin, but I'll be seeing you soon enough.
I'm already missing the place. I'll be back soon.
Good, good. Well, move up, go to New York in February when I move, so that way I can see you more. And yeah, awesome, cool. So on today's call, what we were going to be doing is, I'm not sure if he's able to attend today. We were going to be doing a breakdown of somebody's business, like a live breakdown. I'm still waiting for him to hop in here. Not sure if he will be here on time or how far behind he's running. I did send a message beforehand. However, what I would want to do instead is first give that offer to anybody else here who does have a business who wanted us to break it down live next week. And by the way, I already have some pretty exciting guests lined up to start hopping on these calls as well too. Eventually, the way I see these calls starting to move is maybe it's slightly a bit more like it's these calls are continuing to grow and more people are getting interested in them, so eventually it's going to be hard to have everybody on here, like mike's muted, mike's unmuted. So what we'll probably do is more like a panel style, but I have a few people I'm lining up here, potentially the CEO of Fit Tea, if anyone remembers Fit Tea back in the day and how every single person ever was drinking Fit Tea. So I have a few interesting people lined up that I want to be bringing on these calls. A few very successful 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs, some people who make $700,000 a month trading, or some people have had multi 6 figure days trading. A lot of really interesting people I've been meeting here. It's some masterminds, and they're all very interested in hopping on here. Somebody who just exited a $1.2 billion business. So a few different people I want to start bringing in here to just start adding value. But today on this week, our business person we were going to be harassing for an hour and a half didn't seem to show. So Burhan, what's going on, man?
What's going on? It's one of those guys, a guy named Zan Shake.
So Zan is that's not even who I was referring to, but Zan Shake is one of my actually really close friends since college.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't know Zan actually launched an NFT project. I think they did like $5.6 million in a month, and they do around $2 million a month in crypto mining, and they sell crypto mining as a pretty much an investment vehicle from like I think 30 to 50K. So you know Zan?
I know of him. I've been following for some time now.
Oh, super cool, man. Yeah, no, Zan's awesome. We Bargov and I were hanging out with Zan, or Bargov actually knows Zan for as long as I have, which is pretty crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were he's
Always.
a great friend. We were chilling with him. I got to drive in his new Lamborghini. It was raining, so he didn't
Yeah.
want me driving it. So then we got to hang out at his new spot in Miami, which was a 2-story penthouse, which is bigger than a lot of homes I've seen. So it was pretty sweet. But yeah, it's good to see him doing well. But yeah,
I
Zan's
saw
a
that,
great
man.
guy.
Small
Yeah.
world. Yeah. Small
Small
world.
world, man. Yeah, really small world. Zen's a great guy. Really cool. Cool. So with that said, I know a lot of people on here, closers, setters. I know, Michael, I know you're a business owner. So, Michael, if you wanted to, I know you're driving, so I also don't want to distract you too much here. But what I'd love to do is either a business audit where we dive into someone's business, break down maybe some constraints that they're having and helping them to unlock that next stage of scaling and growth inside their business. Or what we can do is just more general Q&A style, which we've done in the past as well, too. So, Michael, I'll leave it up to you. I don't know if there's any other of our business. I know a lot of our business owner friends, 3 of them are at an in-person event in Austin, like 5 of them are at a mastermind in Tampa. So there's a lot of our typical attendants here are not here today just due to mastermind. So Michael, would you want to do a breakdown on your business today, or would you rather us do more of a Q&A?
Yeah, as long as you don't mind, I'm driving and kind of looking at the road, and you can just talk this way, and I'm fine with that. That's cool.
Sweet. As long as, again, I just don't want to distract you. So
I'm good, man. Yeah.
cool. Awesome, man. Just don't look at us, because last thing I want to do is have you look at us and go, hey guys, and then boom. See ya. So cool. Awesome, man. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is just pin me, Bargov, and you. And what we're going to do here is just jam out. And what I want everyone to do here, whether or not you're a closer, setter, business owner, and also too, there's some people that I could be pulling in here. Jonathan Gallardi, your twin. Looks like Matt's on here too. We got another business owner. So everyone doesn't know Matt's been on a few of these calls now. Matt and his team help to scale SaaS businesses to $1 million a month. Really awesome guy. So yeah, so what I'm thinking is we can have Jonathan on here as well to pull in for sales related questions. Also, we have Lamb on here. Lamb's team is super impressive and have run a bunch of operations and have had over $100 million of operational processing go through the systems that they built. So we have some really cool people in here who can also kind of hop in here and hot seat a bit. But Michael, what I'd love to do is go over what are some things that you are. What I want to start by asking is, like, where's your business at currently right now? And what do you feel is the biggest constraint in your business growing?
So I have 2 businesses. I still run my fitness coaching business. And then, as you know, I started consulting other fitness coaches. So let's talk the fitness one, I guess, for a second. What I found is that the ones who are staying relevant, the ones who are really succeeding, are the ones who have a super clear, unique, taboo kind of niche.
Yeah.
Because I started in 2018 and before it got super saturated, I never really niched down because I never really had to. I'm finding it increasingly difficult more and more to acquire leads, stand out, get pushed out in the algorithm, and get people to raise their hand and even trust me at this point. So tips, tricks, ideas on niches you found worked really well, ideas on how to find a niche and how to pivot to really stand out in the marketplace.
Yeah, really great question. Funny enough, we actually had a fitness client that we were working with, and a big part of his process that he was really struggling with was actually like, he was like, yeah, even my cash collected is low, because he's like, it's hard to get people to trust you. He's like, people want to come in, they want to go on these like payment plans, and they want to go, like, it's not because they can't afford it, but they just like want to see if this actually works for them and stuff like that too. So I totally get where you're coming from. And when he came in, it was very much like, yeah, I help people with I help men and like entrepreneur men with like make data-driven decisions like on their body, like they do on their business, like optimize their body like your business kind of thing. And it worked okay. But it wasn't until we just literally niched down on like employees with lower back pain, like from sitting at a desk all day, that we really that we tapped into like a real big pain point in the market. So let me ask you right now, what are you currently doing to grow your business? Where you at right now monthly, if you don't mind me asking, in terms of revenue on the coaching business side? And yeah, just give me kind of a breakdown of where you're at and like what you're currently trying to do to try to get it to work.
Okay, you cut out there for a second, but I heard a little bit. So where I'm at right now, we're doing organic. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's my pixel or whatnot, but I can't get my ads to work for fitness itself. On my consulting side, they're crushing. On the fitness side, I could never get ads to work. Either it's a volume issue or it's a quality issue. So pretty much all organic. I have a couple of Facebook strategies, but I'm posting, getting new followers, and then just immediately DMing those followers. So I have a pretty big page. So there's never really a constraint on people coming in. It's just a matter of people who are in enough pain to want to have a coach within 2 days of following me. I've been posting a lot of metabolism stuff. I just try to niche down that way and kind of coin my own way of rebooting a metabolism, let's call it. So a USP is what you'd say. I'm just starting it, so I'm assuming like I have to run with it for a few months and really stick to it, but nothing's really sticking right now.
Yeah.
So I think calls are lower than usual. DM response rates are lower than usual. Everything just super low the last couple of months.
Yeah. So what I've seen a lot of, and I think this will immediately help out here, is USPs don't really work anymore for fitness, is what I've kind of found. Right? Like your USP of like this like super unique, and anyone doesn't know what that means. It's your unique selling proposition. So it's like your 7-stage method of like, switch, like shifting your metabolism to do X, Y, Z. Like what I found is especially or specifically in the fitness space, USPs don't really work because like it's immediately associated with fad, right? Like if somebody's like, oh, this is like a fad thing, like this metabolism thing, is that really the thing that's really going to break free? What I found is speaking more specifically to a niche and understanding their lifestyle and helping them to create a process for them that helps them to achieve a goal specific in that niche, right? So for example, one of the best fitness offers I've heard of recently, and I think he prints like 300-400K a month, he helps first responders to stay in shape. So like in case they need to go on call. Right. And so if somebody like that, it's like, okay, first responders and firemen, like he can very easily speak to their lifestyle. Right. It's
Right.
Hey, like, listen, you're sitting around all day. You're you're sitting at the firehouse, you're sitting in the police station, you're sitting in these different places. And and you got to be ready on a moment's notice to get up, and you need to be required to stay in shape to, make sure that you can move and, get where you need to go. Right. So with that said, like what I found that has been working incredibly well is like picking the niche of not just USP, but the niche of people that you understand their lifestyle more than anybody else. And a few things too, right? It's like, it sounds like when you were saying you're trying to get paid to work, it sounds like you're having volume issues and lead quality issues. I would typically say that's both. And I'm going to let Bargov dive in here too, especially on the marketing side. But real quick point here is, you probably were running into both those issues because you weren't speaking directly enough to the specific niche that you were trying to target. And you were just trying to get people to get attracted to
bro, how do you get your teeth so white?
Somebody's who's complimenting somebody's teeth. All right, interesting. All right, cool.
But just piggybacking off of what you're saying, so that's my hard thing, man, is like I've never had a 9-to-5 job. I've never had any job other than being my own boss. Like I did this in 2018 when I was at UMass. Like this is the only thing I know. So not a lot of people can relate to that, right? So the only thing I can do is entrepreneurs, but I don't know how many fitness coaches you've worked with, but helping entrepreneurs in the online coaching space or busy executives is like a super hard niche to crack. Just because they're not scrolling Instagram, they're not doing all of that kind of stuff. So I've kind of been in this limbo period of like, okay, I can't really relate to anyone other than desk-bound workers. So I ran a follower ad for people that sit at a desk all day. It did okay. I'm just trying to test, different things, but I totally agree. I think it has to be relatable. I have to speak to a specific person because the biggest people in the industry, like you said, firemen. I know one guy does just straight up targets gay men. Another one targets lawyers. I'm just having a hard time fitting in because I can't relate to a lot of stuff.
Michael, did you play any sports?
I did in high school baseball. I played 1 year at club in college, but like I can't really relate to. I can relate to a baseball player, but I don't think that baseball players who want to lose weight is like a huge niche. I could be wrong, but I haven't dove into that really.
Bargov, did you want to dive in here a bit too on the marketing side?
Yeah. So a quick reframe that helped us a lot, like pivot that one fitness offer is, it's not that USPs or your unique selling propositions are a thing of the past. It's people are getting jaded by unique mechanisms, which is your superior and different process of getting the desired transformation. So a lot of people like this specific person had like precision metrics as their unique mechanism, or they coin it as a specific process or term on why it's why their process is different and better. But what we found, especially with that client, that really helped us pivot is it's two main things. You can first change the problem that you solve, or you can or secondly, you can add a floor qualification to who you serve, right? So what I mean by that is, and you're probably running the same follower ads that a ton of other fitness coaches are doing, and then you outbound DM every single follower. That can work, but the sales cycles are getting prolonged because there's more middle of funnel content that needs to go in front of that audience in order to make sure that they're nurtured before they're actually ready for a call. So that's why you see your lead to call set booking rates honestly tanking, because first of all, a lot of fitness coaches are already doing this. Second of all, people are more jaded than ever, and then third, what really bridges that gap is that of trust is honestly content. So what we did to solve that problem is, yes, you can add a floor to your qualification by only working with first responders, or only working with NFL athletes and helping them get a specific transformation, or you could change the angle of the problem that you solve. So with this specific client, we found that their audience was suffering from lower back pain. So that's why they were signing up for fitness coaching. And we just pivoted the offer to, okay, hey, we specialize in solving lower back pain without traditional PT, chiropractors, or expensive medications. And instead, we just through natural and organic exercises, we're able to, relieve your lower back pain for good, right? Of course, you have to be a little careful with the claims. But again, like one of the best hooks that we had on their ads was like, did you know stretching was actually making your lower back pain worse, right? Just really extrinsic call outs that target that specific pain point. So I would look to either figure out what a common problem between your clients actually signing up was, or add a floor qualification to whoever you enroll into the program, or even who you call out on your marketing message.
Just an add-on question there too. When you worked with, you've worked with a lot of clients on this. Who were your best clients? Who were they? Were they typically business owners, desk workers? Was it like kind of a mix of both? Was it a certain gender? Was it a certain like who were the best people that you've worked with?
Yeah, so I took like my top 10 best performing, like best clients, and the ones who paid me the most. And the age range was between early 30s to late. The jobs themselves were kind of all over the place, but 3 out of the 7 were desk bound workers, and then I had 2 nurses, and the other ones were kind of miscellaneous. So one was a finance guy, another one worked for a tech company, another lady did something different, but they all sat all day. So that's why I started going with desk bound workers. Now, I have a PT background, but like I'm not super passionate about helping someone fix their posture, get out of pain kind of jazz, because that just brings, in my experience, woe is me people. I can't work out because I'm hurt. And teaching someone to get out of pain online is incredibly difficult. That's more of a hands-on thing, which is why I haven't taken that angle. But long story short, it's desk-bound workers. I don't know if that's niche enough.
Well, what made them your best clients?
They performed the best. They listened the best. They all tracked. They paid me the most. They stayed the longest. But these are all clients that give me their all. I don't have to chase them to like, hey, why didn't you track? Why didn't you do this? Why'd you skip the workout? They do their stuff, and they just want to be told what to do, and they'll execute.
So what similarities did you see? Because I mean, like you must have got on sales calls and there must have been something that you were saying or a pain point that you could help them eliminate that was common between all of them. Because I guarantee you were getting on sales calls. People were not giving you money. They were not, they were giving you low cash collected rates. And these people right here, there was something different that you were saying to them that really resonated and attracted them. What was that?
I put in my notes. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. And you got to pull over for a second, do that too. Definitely not while you're driving.
So everyone, they all said I needed accountability, knowledge, and guidance. That's what they all said. I just need accountability, knowledge, and guidance. Structure.
Okay. And out of those people, like, I mean, dude, that itself could even be like your unique angle of just simplifying fitness, right? In this world of everybody has like their fucking hydrometabolism method or whatever the hell they want to say, like, you know, their cell regenerate, like, you know, all this stuff. It's like, listen, you go online and you see all these different fitness coaches talking about, you know, just you know, either this type of method here or calories or these different fad diets. We have made, as humans, we have made fitness complicated. Right. So if you're somebody who just needs knowledge, guidance, what was it? Knowledge, guidance, and accountability.
Yeah, accountability was the main word, and then the other one was just structure, knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just like, and from there, then from there, you can kind of niche down on like, okay, like who is that for? But I think the core principle of your messaging, instead of trying to make it sexy and like complex, it's like every time I see like a fitness coach and just kind of say like just from another perspective here, and I see like there's some unique thing of their bio that's like this crazy method I've never heard of. I'm like, okay, it's either like super niche, but it's not really for me, or it's bullshit. Right. So it's either like, because like if the USP is so complex that I just can't understand it and you're not calling me out specifically, then I think it's just not for me. Right. Like the second you like the one thing I like to use as an analogy is if you can't speak Spanish, right? And somebody says like you need to drink agua and you go, I'm never going to drink agua. What does that even mean? Right. You think that water is not for you. Right. But in reality, water's for everybody. Right. So like when you're speaking in a marketing message, what you want to really ensure is that you are able to speak directly to the person that you're trying to speak to, and that they can understand every part of what it is you're putting together. Right. So like a doctor might hear something about like a metabolism method or something like that and be like, okay, that's really cool. Like what, like, you know, like, okay, this must be some science maybe I'm not super familiar with, but at least I'll be able to understand it and comprehend it. The everyday person is going to hear something like that and be like, what does that even mean? Like, it sounds really cool and scientific, but like it sounds too advanced for me.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
like, yeah. So what were we gonna say?
It's very like I totally agree with what you're saying. There's a fine line between like keeping it super simple that, oh, I've already seen this on YouTube, I've tried this, etc. What I found most times on sales calls is what I hear is I've tried X, Y, and Z, and it just isn't working anymore. So I don't know if you know what reverse dieting is, but I'm taking that angle. And like when I get on a call, a lot of times it's, oh, I saw you talk about this and I've never heard it before, which is why it got me on a call. Same thing with like my consulting. Oh, I heard you do it organic without ads, which is why I booked the call. So it's very much, at least in my experience, like if it's something new they haven't seen or tried, it at least sparks their interest to want to get on a call. It's
How
just
good are you at explaining
people on
concepts?
there.
How good are you at explaining concepts in coaching?
I like to think I'm good, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So yeah, and the reason why I asked that is like, dude, I mean, like most people, like they really suck at the why. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, okay, you've been told to like count your calories, but here's why it doesn't typically work for you. Right.
Mhm.
Like, you probably tried counting your calories and you probably went through this, and this phase. Right. And like what I'm probably gonna do is develop more of the core principle of what your marketing message is. And then from there we can kind of niche down on exactly who it is and then like who you help.
Yeah.
But like one thing that I found really that works really well, especially in the fitness niche, is calling out exactly what they did, how they did it, and why how they did it did not work.
Right. Yep. I use that a lot in my hooks, which I agree that works really well. Is so the whole reverse dieting thing is, hey, this is why your calorie deficit is not working over and over again. Calorie deficit, calorie deficit. And the reverse dieting method kind of goes is opposite to that. So I kind of use that as my hook and as my draw in of like, oh, everyone that's been in a calorie deficit, if you're not losing weight, here's probably why. And then I have my angle and spin off of that. So I think that's what you're getting at. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So, well, so what exactly at its core principle, like what is reverse dieting?
Building your metabolism back up after you're in a reverse diet. I mean, after you're in a calorie deficit. The reason why it's important is because if you stay in a deficit for too long, your metabolism starts to slow down, your body's processes start to slow down and stores body fat.
Yeah. Simplified even more. Give me like explain why this works compared to why other things don't work.
Slowly build up your resting metabolic rate, eating more food without putting on fat.
What's a resting metabolic rate?
Let's just call it metabolism.
What's a metabolism?
Okay. it's hard to explain in layman's terms, I guess, but I know what you're getting at.
Yeah. That's your but that's the break in your marketing message. This is why most people suck. Right?
Okay.
It's like you can break that down very simply and be like, here's the thing, right? You keep hearing about your metabolism, you keep hearing that you have a fast or slow metabolism. You probably even blame your metabolism for being in the weight you're at right now. Like, first of all, what the hell even is your metabolism? Here's how it works. Your metabolism is XYZ, right? And like Jonathan just said, how you would explain it to a 5-year-old, right? Your metabolism is your body is going to process the food that you put into it. Now, what makes a slow metabolism is this. And what makes a fast metabolism is this. The reality is most people, when they go to lose weight, they actually end up slowing down their own metabolism. And the reason being is because think about it this way. If you put more food in here, what's going to happen is, like let's say you're not eating enough, your body goes into what's called survival mode, right? So when your body, because think about it, if you're out in a desert and you're starving, your body's going to try to conserve as much energy as possible. So what it's going to try to do is slow down how you process your food. Well, your body doesn't know if you're in a desert or not, but it knows it's not getting enough food, right? So in a lot of times when people try to do fad diets or they lower their calories too extremely, what they end up getting stuck in is what I call like the desert. Like you get caught in like what's called desert mode, right? Where your stomach is processing at the speed of which it thinks you're dying. Right. So our goal here is to retrain it through what we call reverse metabolism training, which is what this is, feeding your body at a more consistent rate, plus this, and this should help you do this. Now, now obviously this is the core principle of what we teach here, but it's there's a bit more that goes into it than just this. So if you want to learn more about exactly how this process works, how to do it properly, so you can actually retain your, not lose your weight, so you can lose that additional weight while still eating actually more, which is better for your body, then click the link below and I'll show you exactly how to start, exactly how reverse metabolism works.
Awesome. I love that. Now, do you think obviously cleaning that up, being more concise, telling a story like that would work well as an indirect offer ad, like a video ad, potentially?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, so it's like, what, but I would start off as like, hey, did you know that by fasting, do you feel like you have a slow metabolism, but have you tried fasting? Well, did you know that fasting is actually probably what caused your slow metabolism? Right? Like people don't understand fitness and health. If they did, they wouldn't be overweight. Right? 95% of people who go into fitness, health, and all these different areas, like they don't know how to lose weight and they don't know how to actually manage their body, maintain, or they just don't know these things, right? And they've tried things and they see that they work, but then they get quickly discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So think about like, what are the pain points and like what you're trying to do in marketing. This is the core principle of marketing is you want to tell people what they want to hear, or you want to relate to the person, but then give them what they need. Right. And I don't mean this in a bait and switch kind of way. Right. I'm not saying that you should get somebody in and then bait and switch them out. Right. And be like, hey, I'm here to sell you apples. And then you get them to a funnel. You're like, okay, here's bananas. Right. So with that said, like what you want to do is get people in like based on like what it is. And so like Bargal mentioned, there's direct ads and indirect ads. Direct ads are very simple, like in terms of like, hey, like coaches and agency owners, I'm going to teach you how to generate, 3 new clients by the end of this month by using this exact process. I do XYZ. With indirect, what you're trying to do is like meet the person where they're at and bring them to where you're trying to get them to go. Right. So like you meet them over here, like, hey, listen, like you're trying all these fad diets, you're trying XYZ, and you're trying to get over here, but like you can't because, and then you explain the journey as to why and everything, everything that's messed or everything that they have done along the way that is messed up or has impacted their metabolism negatively, for example. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to meet them where they're at. It's like, hey, listen, like, have you tried, have you noticed that the less food that you actually eat, the more weight you start gaining over time? People are like, yeah, actually, yeah, I have tried that. And you can start target people through who are, fasting, right? That could be your pain point. People who've actually gained weight after fasting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's a niche. Like that's a niche in itself. Like people who've like tried fasting, but have actually gained weight through that process.
I like it. I'm just taking notes here.
Yeah, go for it, man. So like, again, like a niche doesn't need to be a specific group of people. It can even be a specific pain point or desire that a mass group of people experience together that correlates with a specific outcome or action that has gotten them there in the first place. Right. So your niche doesn't have to be desk workers. It could be people who tried fasting.
Yeah, I think I like you hear a lot, I'm eating 1,200 calories, I'm barely eating, I eat only twice a day, I'm still gaining weight. So I think I'll go like the calorie deficit route. I haven't heard of a lot of people who fast and gain weight. I've heard a lot of people in a calorie deficit still gain weight where they're barely eating. And then I have my bonfire example that I always tell about reverse dieting and metabolism. So I can just turn that into, it's kind of like my VSL right now after someone books a call, but I can kind of turn that into an ad.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you could do that into an ad, and then from there just lead them straight to like a lead form conditional formatted campaign as well too, and like get people to, like, opt into a lead form. And it's like, and you can be, and I'll be very specific for who this is for. Be like, listen, like, you know, like, and you can even get more specific and niche down. It's like, you know, like, hey, busy professionals, do you find that, you know, it's easy to fast because you're working all day, but you find that the less food that you're eating, the more weight that you're actually gaining? Right. And then from there, you can actually call it like, listen, this is not for, you know, like, this isn't for, or what I would actually say is you don't even need to call them out. I would just keep the angle that we're going with initially, right? The one we were just talking about a minute ago. But then from there, you could say, and listen, this is not for those of you who just sit down on the couch, or, you know, those of you who, you know, like, just sit down on the couch all day and just, you know, keep gaining weight and you don't really know what's going on. This is for those of you who have actually tried implementing fasting. You're busy workers right now. You can start doing like some financial qualifiers. You're busy workers. You're sitting in the office all day. You tried fasting and you missed your lunch breaks just to get home and try to eat dinner. And at the end of the day, you still are not successful with your fast, right? And you still find yourself gaining more weight, right? Like, and now you can get very specific on exactly who this is for. And that way you can start like adding in those qualifiers. So then on the conditional logic form, you can straight up ask people. We do this on some of our clients. You can either send them to a VSL or a DSL. DSL is a deck sales letter. Not what most of you probably just thought when I just said DSL. Pretty much what it is, it's like a PowerPoint presentation that you embed on a landing page. And it's pretty much like your VSL slide, but people can click through at their own rate. And then we send them to a lead form campaign where they can go through and you can actually have financial qualifiers on there. Are you currently working at full-time and employed? If they say no, then you just disqualify. If they are employed, then what you can say is like, okay, are you currently in the, you know, like if you were able to achieve XYZ transformation and you were able to reverse your metabolism and finally be able to keep your weight off for good, would you be willing to invest $3,500 or $4,500 into that transformation? And then you can literally have people check off yes. And when you do that and you think that it eliminate a lot of people, it eliminates the wrong type of people, right? Like it eliminates the people that you don't actually want in the funnel. And we find that like even at $300 a day for one of our clients, for example, we're getting 5 booked calls per day. So it's like $60 cost per qualified booked calls. And people who literally say, I have the money, I'm willing to invest and I want to move forward with this. So I would recommend just like, what's the price of your offer?
For fitness, the most popular one's 3,600, let's call it.
Okay. All right. So that's like kind of average price for a fitness offer. I usually see them like anywhere from 25 to 45. You can probably still raise that $500 and you wouldn't see any change in your conversion rate. But yeah, what I would do is just like, I would just tweak the messaging and like, because again, like it's not like a delivery issue. It's a marketing issue, right? It's a messaging issue and like lead quality and dude, like Bar will be the first to tell you. Targeting means like almost nothing nowadays. Like how good you are at like targeting really does not mean a whole lot because Google and Facebook already know what the hell you're going to buy before you buy it. And all these ad platforms, they can transcribe your video, right? So when you upload an ad video to it, it's actually transcribing it and it knows who to put it in front of based on what other people similar to your ideal customer are clicking on based on similar scripts to what you're posting as well too. So it already knows the intent. So that's why really dialing in your marketing message, like no matter how much technical marketing shit you do, if your marketing message isn't dialed in, then you will not convert on ads. So like I would just really focus on the copy and creating really badass angles. And focus on educating. Like people feel stupid already in general. Most people already just walk around feeling stupid in life. And then when they see, hey, by the way, I have a solution for you, but it's like really complicated, they're like, I just can't win. Right. But if you're the person who goes like, hey, listen, let's take this step by step. Here's metabolism. You keep hearing about metabolism. What the hell is metabolism? And make it stupid simple. Don't need to go into the science. You don't need to go into, then your bile duct opens up and then blah, blah, blah. And like the rate at which that opens is the rate at which you digest food. Like you don't need to get super into the science. Just explain at a very high level concept what it is. And then from there, start crafting that like, okay. And like, again, and this is why what you've done in the past has not worked for you. And this is why we do this thing differently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I like it. Yeah, that was really helpful.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome. And did you have any other questions too? And it looks like Brandon, what's up, man? It looks like Brandon hopped in here. We were going to be tearing apart Brandon's business tonight. But before we do that too, Michael, did you have any questions? Any other questions kind of regarding this and like, any, I guess, clarity on help on next steps or anything like that?
No, it's really just running the ad. And have you seen, I guess, lead forms that would be a higher cost per result? I've always done DM. Do you have any opposition to DM?
DMs are fine,
So-
but it's like, okay, but what is result, right? Like defining what is result. Barg, I'll let you dive in here.
Yeah, shift your focus away from like cost per lead, cost per booked call to overall ROI. Like focus on the main metrics that matter. Even if you get a higher cost per result, cost per lead on lead forms versus DMs, if it's a higher quality lead, I do that trade off all day because you could double your cost per lead, but you could also cut your cost per acquisition by 50%. So
I agree.
just focus on the main metrics that matter. Which one's bringing in the lowest CAC or your customer acquisition cost compared to any other channel that you have.
Yep, I agree. Thanks.
Okay, Ben. Yeah, again, like, realizing what most people are doing nowadays, and like what most bad marketers are doing nowadays is they're focusing on the vanity metrics and they're like really dialed in, like, what's my cost per lead? And those things are important, right? But at the end of the day, like, what's your customer acquisition cost, right? If you can get your say CAC, I'm gonna say CAC. That's hilarious. If you can get your CAC down, your customer acquisition cost, I'm going to say cost and CAC at the same time. And I said CAC. That's all right. Everyone get your chuckles in. Yeah. So if you can reduce your CAC, your customer acquisition cost, like those other metrics, by lowering those, it will lower that. But at the end of the day, dude, just look at like how much does it actually cost you to acquire a customer? Is your funnel effectively set up in order to do that? And yeah, like I wouldn't get too locked in on like a lot of the vanity metrics that most people are focused on. Just really try to dial in marketing messaging and stuff like that. And like from there, it sounds like you've already ran ads in the past. It's not super technical. You should be good.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, man. Yeah. And dude, hit us up too. Like DM me if you have any questions on that. And yeah, more than happy to keep helping you out.
Will do. Thanks, Noah.
Of course, brother. Forgot you're a UMass alum too, man. That's cool. Go you. Cool, man. Awesome. Brandon, what's up, brother? How we doing?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good. See you in the Benjamin. Dude, so I heard quite a bit about you from Justin. Told me that you are also, I think you're his CMO as well too, and that you're doing some, or that you also run your own coaching business as well too. I believe it's in Amazon. Is that correct?
Pardon?
Is it in Amazon?
No, so it's a dropshipping, just Shopify. So I have my coaching offers, but we have like a portfolio of offers.
Oh yeah, man. Awesome. And so, yeah, so what the context of these calls are, and I know this is your first time on these calls, is what we either do is just overall coaching, but what we're going to start doing more as a theme on these is actually breaking down people's businesses and just helping them to eliminate some constraint that they're possibly running into. Justin was going to be on here. We were going to break it down with Justin. Justin had an in-person mastermind to go to. So he said you'd be on here so we could dive into your business if you'd like to do that. You're either really shocked and excited, or you're muted, or you froze. Oh, I think you froze. There you go. Damn. I'm going to ship you a new router, Brandon. Can you hear us? B-Money, you there? Oh, man. Dude, he got so excited that he froze.
Look at us. Look at how happy he is.
Yeah,
He
he
looks
like
so
froze.
happy.
He's I'm screenshotting this and say we just got this guy to $1 million a month.
Oh, there he is.
Ah, there we go.
All right, let me.
I think you're on mute now.
Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Give me a second. Okay, I'm good.
Chris for his Wi-Fi. Yo, Omar, what's up, brother? How you doing? All right, let me find you, Brandon. I'm trying to find you, dude. For some reason, you're not popping up here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Add pin.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's my internet on my computer for some reason.
Oh, good, man. No worries. So yeah, so would you like us to dive in and help you solve some sort of constraint that you're dealing with either in your business or portfolio business? Purpose of these is just to mastermind and just help eliminate constraints. I haven't actually, for anyone who doesn't actually know us too, I know I didn't do a proper intro at the beginning. Brandon, obviously you're in my the mastermind channel or the mastermind group chat as well. But for anyone who doesn't know us, I'm Noah. I used to be the head of client experience at the 60th fastest growing company in the US. Helped to see the success over 1,000 online coaching businesses. I've done 6,000 to 7,000 hours of one-on-one coaching calls with high ticket business owners. And Bargov is my marketing or my business partner at Client Evolve. Jonathan is also one of our business partners who's here on this call as well too on the sales side. But yeah, Bargov does all the marketing. Bargov, if you want to do a quick intro.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Bargov. My background comes from working with public companies listed on the NASDAQ, TSXV, helping them with investor lead gen using paid social, and shifted into the online coaching space, helping scale multiple 7- and 8-figure offers, mainly in the Amazon automation space, YouTube automation, just biz op / coaching-esque style offers. So yeah.
Awesome, man. So yeah, Brandon, now you know who we are. So Brandon, did you want us to dive in at all and start I know Justin was supposed to be on here today, but I don't know if you want to kind of speak on behalf of Justin or if there's another offer you want us to dive into and just give you some feedback, help you maybe eliminate some constraints on.
Yeah, I'll speak on behalf of Justin. That one has been like the biggest constraint. So it's also in the weight loss niche as well, which is a fucking pain in the ass, as I'm sure everyone knows.
Yeah.
Right now, the funnel is a sales call funnel. So we run an indirect style funnel. So it's like, hey, if you're losing weight, chances are there's a metabolism problem. So that's like one of the hooks of the ads right now. And then I just lead with like authority and then just like signs of pain or symptoms. So I just call those all out. And then we lead to a opt-in page. We just had installed like a new sales team. So we're dialing all the leads coming in, and then they just have a 20-minute BSL kind of training them. And then the book a call, and then thank you page, and then then the nurturing assets on the thank you page. Right now, it's hard to say since we just launched, but it seems like lead quality is a bit in the pain in the ass, and I'm thinking it's the messaging in the VSL, the things that we're educating them on isn't as hard hitting, I believe. Also, with the VSL, the call to action is a free assessment call. So I think there's like two things. It could be like, I don't know where to start from there. Like, should I change?
Bargov could probably dive in here and give some feedback.
Yeah, because at this point, like now I'm just like, okay, like where do I go from here?
Yeah,
of course. So a couple things. I want to identify what the actual constraint is. So do you guys, what's your current customer acquisition cost given this current VSL funnel, if we want to term it like that? Because it's technically like a mini webinar, but VSL is fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's a mini webinar. So right now it's 2.4K, and then we just closed the 6K. God bless. But yeah, it's sitting at a 2.4 right now. We launched this like about I believe last week.
So your current customer acquisition cost is 2.4K for a 6K offer?
Yeah. Or it's usually a 3K. But we had like a 6K come through.
Got it. So about 50% of your total cost is going just towards customer acquisition. Is that right? Not including setter closer commissions?
No. Yeah, you're right.
50%. Got it. Now, what is the desired state? Are you guys trying to get that down to 10%? So about $600 cost per acquisition, not including setter closer commissions?
Ideally, like I want to sit around like 1.5, at least a 2x if we're closing like 3K on average. That's what I'm kind of aiming for. If it can sit there like consistently, then it'll be good. I think this like 6K was kind of like the odd one out.
So just to confirm, 3K, but what were you referring to as 3K? Was that like the amount you're spending per cut? So that's cash collected?
Yeah, that's the goal. That's what we're going for. Yeah.
So you want to spend 3K for a 6K customer, is that right?
No. I want to spend 1.5 for a 3K, but we ended up spending 2.4 for a 6K.
But the 6K is an anomaly. That's not a common. That's not your.
Yeah. It's an anomaly.
Okay.
So the price point of your offer is 3K?
Yeah. That's like the
Okay.
minimum we're going for.
And your target CPA is you want to get to 1.5K, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But you're now basically spending 3K 3K to acquire a 3K customer. So you're just basically breaking even or at a slight loss.
Well, right now we're at a profit. Well, we just launched this last week. I'm just spending like $200 a day on it. We got the sale at 1.5. But now we're just waiting until like it kind of just spends a bit more at this point. But like, yeah, so we'll see at this point.
Got it. Now, where do you see the biggest drop off within the funnel? Is it your VSL conversion rate to booked call, or is it are you seeing like the biggest drop off on your opt-in page?
I would say, so let me pull up the numbers. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, I would say like just keep it time sensitive. I would say it's like the lead quality. So like the people actually hopping onto the call, the numbers are all fine from like opt-in and to call booking. I would say like it's definitely the quality of the leads. So right now we're sitting at about like a 45% on the opt-in, and then on the actual convert like lead to call booking is 14%.
14%. So that's your VSL conversion ratio. And what's your close rate on the applications booked?
Close rate is.
And I'm assuming that's going to be super low because you just mentioned your issue is lead quality.
Yeah, it's going to be super low. Yeah, I would say it's like accounting no shows should be like 10% right now.
10% call close rate, so that's total calls to close.
This is like accounting no show. I'm just assuming a 50% no show. I have to actually pull up these sales metrics.
So 10% after no shows, or is it 10% out of total booked calls?
After no shows.
Okay, so that means your total call book to conversion rate is even sub 10%. Is that right?
Yeah, that would be the case then.
Okay, got it. Now, what does the front end messaging of your ad actually say? And is that congruent with the messaging on your VSL?
Yeah. So it's just like struggling to lose weight and tried everything. Chances are it's a metabolism problem. And like here's what you might be experiencing.
Okay. What are some common fallacies of your industry? Like on sales calls, what are the biggest reasons that people are saying why they're not losing weight? Is it diet? Is it exercise? Or like what's the main thing that they believe is the problem? Do they know themselves that metabolism is the problem?
They have an idea. They think it's the metabolism. Like it's just like we're just playing into like what they think and what they feel is like the problem. So they think it's the metabolism. They've tried things before. Sometimes they even feel like they know everything about health, but like they're actually in like a problem. Like they don't know what the problem is at this point.
So is that ad actually working though in terms of the marketing message, right? Because like I guess. Yeah, and you typically don't want to like always just go for like vanity metrics like cost per lead and stuff like that. But like, what is per lead?
Pardon?
What's your cost per lead roughly?
It is $5.
$5. So, and the lead is considered an opt-in on your landing page, correct?
Pardon?
And your lead is an opt-in on your landing page?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, $5 cost per lead is actually very low. But what this is all coming down to, it sounds like, is it's like it seems like too generic of a funnel potentially, where you cracked like a generic marketing message, right? So it seems like the numbers and the metrics are really good, or people are really resonating with it, but like there's some sort of breakdown, because a 14% VSL conversion rate and a 43% opt-in rate on your landing page is actually really good. Those metrics are both double what the standard KPI is. Right. So what that's either saying is that either A, your what's either happening is like the quality of the offer itself and the people that you're attracting through this is maybe you're just attracting really bad broke people through this funnel, but you're doing a really good job of it. Or people are getting through the entire process, through the entire marketing and through the entire marketing funnel, and you're selling apples in the marketing funnel, then you're selling bananas on the sales call. Right. So it sounds like it's either one of those two issues. So with that said, like what is Jonathan, actually, I want you to dive in here. Just pull Jonathan in. Jonathan is our so everyone doesn't know too, by the way, Bargov and I run a done for you marketing agency. Jonathan runs a done for you sales agency, and we partner together on deals to do done for you marketing and sales. So Jonathan, I want you to kind of dig in a little bit here to see if it is a sales issue, and then depending on that, we can identify more if it's a marketing issue.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting to me is you got a 45% opt-in rate, you have a 14% booking rate from the VSL, crazy good numbers, yet you have a 50% show rate. So I'm wondering what happens where all the metrics are so good between the time where they book the call to the time where they actually show up to the closers. What's going on in between that's making it not show up? Because with those kind of metrics, you could say you have your message so freaking dialed in, it's resonating with good people. It could also be attracting broke people, yeah. But it also could be your message is so dialed in, you've done all your avatar research, you hit it so on the head that everyone's just flooding in, but then it wouldn't make sense that there's a 50% show rate, even in a very highly competitive market like you have. Maybe you won't be at a 90% show rate, but you should be at around a 70 to 75% show rate minimum. So what I'm wondering is, looking at the show rate, what happens in between when they book and getting to the sales call? Because that'll kind of tell us, hey, is this going to be lead quality, or is it, the closers not doing the work ahead of time, making sure they're showing up and also making sure they're pitching this thing in the right way? So what do they see after they book? Email, text, do they get any kind of testimonials or nurture sequence or anything like that?
I'm just going to quickly add in here too, for anyone who is either a sales rep, a marketer, a business owner, this conversation is so fucking important. Like this gap here of closing the gap between, is it marketing or is it sales? This is where most businesses will villainize or they'll point fingers at the other one. You can see here that we actually have marketing and salespeople on here trying to diagnose this together. And either side will take accountability for what it actually is. And we're using data to be objective about this. But what we're doing is, you can see we're trying to support each other with this. So I just want to call it this dynamic here because it's very important. I see a lot of business owners villainize either marketing or sales. The sales team villainizes marketers villainize the sales team. It's an entire acquisition funnel, and you have to treat it as such. So yeah, Brendan, I'll pass it over to you to answer Jonathan's question.
Yeah. So they see a thank you page. There's like a video on there telling to giving them instructions. And then I have like links at the bottom, send them into Justin's ecosystem. Because before I started working with him, we saw that most of we're just trying to get into the middle of the funnel content. It's such a competitive niche, but we see before, if they're to consume Justin's content, it's very likely that they'll be they'll convert. I definitely think it's sorry, let me answer the question first. So
yeah, and I could simplify by asking you, do you know how many emails and text reminders they get of going out to them before they show up on that call? Or do you have a triage guy calling them up after they book a call, calling them up right away?
So I have no clue what's going on the sales side right now. We just Justin would know that a bit better than I do. We brought on a new sales team last week, and they were able to close that 6K, and they're setting and all that stuff. Yeah, we have some reminder emails going out, just reminding people to check out the thank you page and all the content that Justin has. I forward them to a podcast, stuff like that. I definitely think it's a marketing thing though, qualitatively. Yeah. I think it's the messaging in the VSL where we're not communicating we're not educating them too hard. It's kind of generic where it's no all the hooks are good. That's why they're opting in the book and the call, but the actual education part, I think, is really missing in the VSL. So now it's just breaking apart everything after they book a call, and the type of leads that are booking on is probably just super low quality.
Yeah, and the two things you can look at, obviously, and I understand you don't have some of that data because, you have a partner. The two things you could really look at is because a lot of people do opt in, especially in a competitive space, they opt into many things. So if they're not getting reminded, during that process for what they're opting in for, so it's sort of becoming back of mind, not top of mind. They're kind of forgetting they've even opted in. So if your closers are getting a lot of like, who are you again, or what exactly is this again? If they're getting that on the intro of their calls and that's a repetitive thing, then you definitely want to look at marketing. And if the other thing that you can look at that you won't have an answer for now probably is, what kind of objections are you getting from these guys for why it could potentially be a 10% close rate? And depending on the objections and if they match up to good objections of the message that you're sending, and depending how the intro of those calls go, and also what's being nurtured to them in between, that'll really help you have a super magnifying glass on if it's sales or marketing, if we don't have that data now. I do have a question for Noah and Bargov on that VSL. Do you feel like 20 minutes is very long for a VSL?
I mean, honestly, it really, yes, objectively, it is probably longer than the average VSL. However, what matters is the VSL data, right? So, Brandon, what are you running the VSL on? Are you hosting it on Vimeo?
Yeah.
Wistia? Okay, so yeah, in Wistia, you can see the actual data analytics. So, do you have access to that right now?
I do. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, you can just pull up. You probably know what I'm talking about, the analytics chart. Here we go.
Just give me a second. Pull this up.
Yeah, no worries. And then share your screen here too when you can go ahead and share it. But yeah, and everybody too, this is why, and I really want to stress this point again. This is that bridge that we're discussing or that we're talking about here, where it's so crucial for marketing and sales to communicate. Because right now we're still trying to identify what actually is the issue, is it marketing or sales? And this is why it's so crucial as well as a business owner or as a marketer, as a salesperson, to make sure you help bridge that gap of whatever organization you're at. Like Brandon, because if you guys had more communication on the sales side, and one thing you mentioned is if I'll dive into this here in a sec. By the way, that's fucking great. Those are great stats. But Matt, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate you. But yeah, so what the purpose of this here is if there was more conversation going on, this probably would have already been diagnosed a few weeks ago. But Brent, those stats were phenomenal. Those stats were really, really good for your VSL. If you want to put those up to the screen again, is there a way to draw on this? It'd be super cool if I could.
I'm so sorry. Let me try to enter on my computer.
Yeah, no worries. And Burhan, yeah, so top of the hour here. So for everyone who doesn't know, these calls do go an hour and a half. So if you want to plan for in the future, if you can only stay for an hour, I also get that too. But yeah, these calls do go an hour and a half.
Okay.
So as you're pulling that up, I'd also love more clarity on what makes it a lead quality issue. Are they just unfinancially qualified, or is the intent off? Are they coming on saying, I don't even have an issue with my metabolism, or I don't even need fitness coaching?
So Jonathan brought up a good question. I haven't been really touching base with the sales guys much, just because there's so many things going on. But that's something I should probably hop on to get more clarity on. So I think that's one of my first steps.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So here's a few action steps you can start taking immediately that will help you pretty much immediately diagnose this here. And Brent, I'm letting your other thing, and you might have to mute it quickly when it hops in.
Yeah.
So that weird echo thing doesn't happen.
Wind tunnel.
Yeah. So I'm gonna unpin your face one here. Actually, no, there you go. Share your screen. Yeah. So these are phenomenal stats. So anyone who's running a VSL funnel, you see how at this point, right? So in the beginning, you're always going to have a bit of a drop off slope. It's not super, it's if it's really steep, sometimes you'll see a really steep one. And all that means is you have to change your VSL hook, the beginning, the first 15-30 seconds is when you usually see the biggest drop offs on the VSLs. But right here, there's that slow, steady decline, and then people are retaining all the way to the end. So these stats are fucking phenomenal. So I would not change the length of this. I wouldn't change the length, but I might change the VSL itself. Right. So, and by the way, you can unshare screen here. I just wanted to highlight for everybody here too, to see what that looks like. So Yeah, and you can also turn your face camera back on. There we go. Yeah, so what it comes down to, right, is like what like the VSL stats, they're phenomenal. They're doing they are really good. So what that tells you is two things. Either A, there's a sales and nurture problem, or B, you built an entire funnel for broke people. Right? Or you built an entire funnel for the wrong person, right? You're trying to sell bananas and you built an entire funnel that raves about apples, and then you're trying to have your salespeople sell bananas. Right? So it's either one of those two things. It's either the entire marketing funnel needs to be readjusted in the marketing messaging. Because the fact that all your stats are good, your cost per lead is really good, your opt-in rate is double, your VSL conversion rate is double, like all your stats are phenomenal on the marketing side. So that either means that you built a funnel for the wrong people and you need to rebuild the funnel and retarget the people with the right messaging, or it's a sales issue. And the sales issue can stem from a few different things. Number one, the show rate. I mean, dude, even if you increase it to 75%, you would increase the overall people through the funnel by or the amount of people show up for sales calls by 25%, hence potentially, you know, adding an extra 25% onto your business, which would bring you from like a roughly 2x ROAS potentially to like a 2.5, almost 3x ROAS, which would put you at KPI, right? Which is actually good. So, so it's either, you know, there's definitely a show rate issue, right? You can definitely get that up. That's only going to help you. That's only going to add roughly 20 to 25% of people coming through your funnel, aka 20 to 25% of revenue added to your business. And on top of that too, it could also just be a closer issue where the closers are not informed enough on the offer. They don't understand the funnel. One thing I always recommend too, and if you're a closer on an offer, go through your marketing funnel so you know exactly what people are hearing and what their experience is up to this point as well. So I think it's either a closer sophistication issue, and maybe the closers just kind of suck, or again, you built this entire funnel for the wrong people. Or one thing that it could also be too is just like you have a lot of broke people coming in. And so like maybe you just need to add a simple like ad qualifier in the ad, or a lead form, or in somewhere in the lead form. You just need to add a financial qualifier too, right? Because if you do those two things, now you can start optimizing for not broke people. And then from there you can adjust targeting to try to stay away from them. But the only way you'll figure out any of this data is by talking to the sales team. And once you talk to the sales team, literally in like 1 30-minute conversation, you'll know exactly what this entire constraint is. You'll be able to solve it and start making more money.
Yeah, and this is also why with that, you can put in, if you don't do this, to have a really good EOD report. Because what I added on my EOD reports is not just like calls, calls booked, calls taken, no show, canceled, reschedule, all of those will equal total calls booked. So you can see where that's coming from. And then obviously if you have a setter, dials, how many people answered, to see the pickup rate. The pickup rate tells you a good idea if they're all calling quickly, how that's resonating with the marketing message and how many book calls they get. But even more importantly, on that EOD form, I always have them put a very short 2 to 3 sentence summary of each call, how it went. So even if you weren't talking to sales right now, you'd be able to pull up, 15, 20 EODs, and you'd be able to see, oh, this is, and I do add in what's the objections you're getting. So even with those EODs, you can see, hey, this call went through this call went through this. Because to be honest, if you're getting the fact that someone sold a 6K, that's a pretty good sign right there, because 3,600 is very low. You can definitely raise that to 5K. But again, I don't know your market like that though, but I would think you can. At the same time though, if people are getting on the call and they're excited, they're like, want to know more about this, then I would definitely be leaning towards this as a big sales problem, either better closers, better processes, or like Noah said, they're not informed. Because, when I did door-to-door solar, I had to know everything about that product to sell it, what every little part of it meant and what it equals and the angle of the roof. And if I just wasn't trained enough, info product trained, it was very hard to have confidence and conviction selling it, even if I was a good closer, if I didn't just like know the product in and out.
Yeah. And just to show you too, just as a quick example, like this is a client account here. You can see here 6 calls, 4 live calls, 3 offers, 0 sales, right? So from here, we actually have them write notes, so we can actually go in here, and then I can go in here and add notes. I'm like, hey, can you send me the calls from this day here? Like, I want to go in and review them. So I can see, like, okay, like I know kind of what's going on here, and then I can add more direct feedback. And what you want to make sure is that even on the marketing side, like you have access, like Bargov for all of our clients. Bargov also has access to that channel. And Bargov also goes into that channel like daily, because he wants to see what are closers, what are setters saying about like the lead quality that's coming in. So yeah, I think the only issue that you guys have right now is you don't have a strong bridge between sales and marketing. Once you fix that bridge, like that's going to identify all these other issues. Because until you have that bridge, and this is why you see most companies, they either scale sales or they scale marketing, or they scale both together and they got lucky, and then one breaks and then they start yelling at the other one. And then instead, if they just had that bridge, they just keep going up together. Right. So yeah, it's so important to create that strong bridge, especially I believe you're not exactly sure what your service is, but I think you kind of like do like a CMO or maybe fractional CMO kind of service.
So we pretty much do the same thing as you, where we have like we build out the sales and marketing. So I'm just working with Justin as a fractional, just because we're like really good friends. But I'm like all over the place, so there's like the bridge between the sales. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yep.
I do it with everyone else. I just don't do it with this one.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. So I mean, you already know how to build that bridge. So the second you build it, you should solve all these problems.
Yeah. So my action steps, I'm thinking I speak with the sales to get the clarity there.
Yep.
I review qualitatively on all the nurturing emails, post booking, and start there. And then my last one would be the hardest one, which would be rebuilding the funnel. I definitely think that the messaging, because we tried 2 different types of tripwires with the similar messaging, and it just seems to bring in like really broke people. When we look at like V-Shreds and all of them, they have like a massive, extensive, like just catalog model going on. So
yeah,
I can speak to V-Shred too, by the way, because one of the closers, I mean, one of the closers that's on my team now was in the top 10 out of 230 closers there. And the challenge with them is, and you mentioned the assessment before, is V-Shred does a lot of bait and switch. They'll have you buy like a $50 product, and then they'll have you fill out a metabolic assessment. And at the bottom, it'll say, do you want like someone to debrief you on your results? And then on that results, they go and try to sell them on a product. So they all have to do a lot of calls to get closes, because these people come on the call thinking, hey, they're going to break down what all this stuff means. And then all of a sudden the closer's like, hey, I got a 5K product for you, right? So, if you have any of that going on too, that maybe the customer's feeling, it could also be the sales process on that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that was happening on our old sales team when they were selling the tripwire. We got like a lot of refunds from people like, yo, like, why are you just keep selling us? Like this never ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. So yeah, dude, just go have the conversation with the sales team, and then like, again, dude, like, I mean, you're a savvy marketer. You'll know, like, okay, it's a financial qualification issue. Like, we just have a lot of broke people. Doesn't mean you need to change your entire messaging unless your entire messaging is literally just targeting broke people. You can just add qualifiers in the initial ad copy, and then on a lead or on the actual like book a call form, you add conditional formatting that disqualifies them if they're broke. Right. And then you can always just ask the question, like, if you were able to achieve this transformation and do, solve weight loss for the rest of your life, et cetera, would you be willing to invest, $3,500 or whatever the price of the product is? And if they say yes, cool, they get to go through. If they say no, then they don't get to go through. Now you have everyone who's coming on as price qualified.
Sounds good. Yeah, there's not a hard qualifier right now. We're just kind of letting everyone go through to kind of see data on the sales side.
Yeah, and that's also completely fine too. I mean, like, when you first launch a campaign and you're starting to get going, I'm a big fan of reducing as much friction as possible and then very quickly optimizing. You can also take the other approach of being like hyper aggressive in terms of qualifying, but you also don't know, like you want to be testing what we call like single variable split tests, right? So like if you add like way too much conditions into a funnel and you add way too much stuff going through it, it takes a long time to optimize it, right? Because you have to, is like, was it the VSL? Let's tweak the VSL. Wait, spend $1,000 on data. It wasn't the VSL. Okay, so what else could it be, right? So like the more complex your funnel is, the more you're naturally going to spend to get it up and going. Once it's up and going, it's probably going to be crushing. It's going to be mint. But yeah, in the beginning, I would definitely just it sounds like you have some good flow coming in, and now you'll be able to tell. And the salespeople, they might just go and be like, dude, everyone's good. They're just really broke. And you just go, okay, that's a simple fix. Like I can go through and fix that today. One thing I'd also recommend potentially doing is removing your landing page for the opt-in for like the VSL, probably doing it as like a opt-in for a free training. We're finding that that's just creating a lot of friction. So I would recommend maybe just bringing them straight to a VSL and then having like the book a call form directly below it. Because if you think about it, like that other, 60% of people, there's still probably a solid 5% of people that can come through. But then if you add conditional formatting on your form, that will be the actual disqualifier. Right? Like having somebody send them straight to the video page. Like the only reason why we ever did like opt-ins is literally so we could get them on an email list and call them. But I mean, if you're eliminating 60% of people just because they literally don't want to give you their email up front because they don't really know you yet, there could be 5, 10, 15%, even 80%, or 80% of that 60% might actually want your service. They just didn't want to give you their email yet because they haven't heard enough about it. So I would do that, and then just add more qualification on the lead form, like actually built in conditional formatting that just like doesn't allow people to book through. We removed all of our landing pages. I believe Bargov, do we remove all of our landing pages for our clients, like the opt-in landing page?
If we're going direct to a funnel, yes, but we do some on Facebook lead form on the thank you page of the lead form, we go to like a VSL or a DSL. That is one thing that we do.
Yeah. So it really depends. Yeah. So, yeah, man, was that helpful?
That's super helpful. I have one last question.
Yeah, man.
Maybe a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
For the mini webinar landing pages, do you guys see that a simple page might work better, or should I have a kind of offer breakdown or a bunch of testimonials on there too? Because right now it's really simple.
Dude, yeah, just simplify the fuck out of it. Like, don't overcomplicate it. But what you can do is on the thank you page, after they book a call, here's a quick hack. Download the transcript of all your sales calls and put it in through ChatGPT and ask it to give you like the most common objections, and create an FAQ section around the objections that you get and put it on the thank you page. And you want to put the FAQ section, put any like questions anything that they need to know about the offer before jumping on a call on that thank you page. But we want to reduce as much friction as possible prior to booking a call, and then of course give them all that information before they actually schedule a call.
Sweet.
And just alignment with that too, I just want to bring up a point here for everybody, because we have a lot of sales reps, closers, setters on this call as well too. This is why giving the feedback and like talking with marketing is so important, because marketing's job is to literally line you up like layups, right? Like their job is not to make it like to not just give you a lead and then, as a closer, you got to do everything you possibly can to close it. They should be giving you layups, and then you're stupid if you can't close them, right? That's really the way that you want the system to look. Like marketing needs to do their job, and sales need to ensure that the close happens if the lead quality is good. Right. So like, this is why it's so important to talk to for sales and marketing to talk, because like, see this right here, like through this conversation, Bargov just gave a point to, okay, if the sales team is hearing all these issues, we're literally going to take all the sales team's objections and then create those into an FAQ to eliminate as much sales friction as possible going into the sales call. So the purpose of marketing is to generate leads for you at a really good cost and eliminate as much objections going into the call. So then when you're on the sales call, you should have that layup. So the more on sales, the more you can, and don't go to your marketing team and bitch mode, be like, oh, I had 2 broke prospects this week. You guys suck. Like, come on, like add a lead, add a conditional form to remove broke people. Right. But if you're seeing any trends, it's really important to report those trends to marketing, because if not, marketing's just going to look at their metrics. Cost per lead is good. Our cost per booked call is good. Our cost per qualified booked call is good. But what is qualified, right? What they consider qualified and what you're seeing as qualified might be different, right? You might have like a form, like your qualification forms. Like we change our clients' qualification forms all the time. Like we constantly are changing our criteria for what we consider qualified or not qualified based on what the closers are seeing. So yeah, just a little note here for anyone who's on sales or marketing, vice versa, make sure you're communicating. It's so important. It's gonna make your job easier too and make you more money. Brandon, what other questions did you have?
As a closer, also just real quick, make sure that you don't hide in the fear of people jumping down your throat for sharing that, stuff, even if you just have to preface it like we do as closers. Hey, I'm not complaining about the lead quality, but I feel like I've been seeing this happen a lot, and I want to just, communicate this to you guys. And because I want to be the best closer I can be, because sometimes you are in companies where you don't have the best leadership. So just frame it like we do on sales calls all the time, that you're here to help, you're here as a team player, but holding those comments back because you feel like you're going to get ripped up or get remarks towards you, it's a double negative at that point. Make sure to speak up and talk to the team and just do it in a way where, you can get that point across.
Yeah. And just to add on to that too, I mean, you're not going to make as much money because your leads are still going to suck. They're going to rip into you because you're not closing deals, right? So either way, they're going to rip into you. And if you do bring this up and you do it in an elegant way, in a respectful way, and you get ripped into, you're at the wrong company.
Yep.
Right. So at that point, so like, just, know your worth, but also to make sure you are communicating and like being a team player and being respectful as well. Always come from a place of respect. So yeah. So Brandon, what other questions do you have for us?
That should be pretty much it. That was all really helpful. Thank you.
Of course, man. Yeah. Yeah. And anytime you have questions, I know you said you have a portfolio of companies. Anytime you have questions on this stuff, feel free to help me, Bargov, Jonathan. More than happy to break that stuff down with you. And I know you do some similar stuff. So anything we can do to add value to you, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. Awesome.
Of course.
Sweet. Awesome. So with that said, and what I actually want to do here is take a quick little pause. If you're a business owner, I want you to write B, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know how valuable you're finding this type of call with the breakdowns. If you're not a business owner, I'd like to have you, let's see, what letter do we want to do? Let's say L, but I feel like that's kind of a negative. Do W. If you're not a business owner, just say W, and then the number of after on a scale of 1 to 10, how valuable you found this type of call today. Hell yeah. Damn, okay.
Yeah, no, these calls are cool as fuck. This is my first one here, so
Appreciate it,
love
man.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the biggest thing here, and again, everyone be honest, if you're like, hey, this actually kind of sucks, like let us know. And then we'll just kick you out and we'll never have to, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, Avery, I'm glad you're enjoying these calls too. Yeah, the whole purpose of these two is just to open up new perspectives to both setters, business owners, closers, like whoever it is. Our goal here is just to make sure that everyone's getting value, there's transparency, and also just to be an ethical space for a bunch of awesome people to just chat and try to make this industry a better industry for us all. So and do so ethically, but also we all make a shit ton of money. So yeah, want to make sure that everyone's doing good here. So awesome, Colton. I'm glad you're enjoying it. With that said, we have 13 minutes left. And then I got to go get a rate for future reference and some bits I could use now. Awesome. Ismail too. What I would love to ask you is what would make that 8 to 10? And feel free to throw that in the chat here. This is actually something that we do. If you're not doing this with your own clients, if you are a business owner or closer or rep or whatever your position is, always ask clients for feedback. Like we literally ask them and they'll be like, yeah, it was a 7 big. What would have made it a 10 this week? And then they tell us and the next client gets that experience. So yeah, I'd love to hear what would change it from an 8 to a 10. And if you want to message me privately about it too, feel free to do that. But this is a pretty chill spot, so I don't think anyone will judge you. So yeah, so with that said, we got 12 minutes left here before I got to go eat a turkey sub. So I'm going to open this floor up to whoever has any just general questions, anything that you had questions on based on what we discussed today. So yeah, go ahead and feel free to raise your hand or just honestly unmute yourself. If not, I'm going to call on one of you.
The only question I have is, are they the same time, same day every week?
Good question. Yeah. So are you officially on this invite or did somebody invite you into this?
No, fuck, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name.
Drop your email down in the chat. I'll send you the official invite. It's on Google Calendar. It's at the same time every week, 5 to 6:30 p.m. Central.
Okay, should I just drop it in the chat or?
Yeah, you can also, you could do 2 and just private message it to me as well.
Okay.
If you want to. Yeah,
Cool.
I don't think anyone here is going to add you to an email list or
and then I know you want to keep it probably like high level, but can we invite like friends, people onto the calls, or how does that work? How do you want
Absolutely. Yeah. So the biggest thing is obviously make sure they're not weird, make sure they're respectful. They're not just going to come on here and just keep on muting their mic and just interrupting and just being strange. Make sure that whoever you do bring on here is somebody who can also good stuff. Yeah, by the way, I'm gonna send your email over to my boy Dyson up here. Anyone doesn't know Dyson, by the way, Dyson's an incredibly impressive young entrepreneur, absolute savage, has a fat warehouse here in Austin. I'm not gonna give you the address because I don't know it yet. Once I find it out, I'll give you the address so we can all rob it together. But
when are you coming to visit, man?
Dude, I want to see your warehouse. I'm very I mean, we can. Are you around this weekend?
It's open invite. Yeah, I'll be here.
Oh, all right, yeah, let's go this weekend then.
Well,
yeah, let's do Saturday or something.
Yeah, works for me.
Okay, man. All right. Fuck yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go live from inside the warehouse and do our next I've actually had a couple people hit me up to use their office for these calls too, which is really cool. A couple 8-9 figure entrepreneurs that I know that want me to use their space for these. So, and then I can bring them on here and let you guys harass them too. But yeah, so yeah, Avery, it's every single week. Can you invite friends? Absolutely. Again, just you can see the general vibe and the culture of this. Trying to maintain this. Anyone who doesn't fit it, we're just gonna not invite them anymore. So yeah, it's just people who are in the high ticket space looking to break into it, people who are in the high ticket space and successful or not successful and are trying to get better. Yeah, by all means, feel free to just anyone who wants to invite people, just send me their emails and I will make sure to add them in here.
Okay, cool.
Valentin, are you not officially on the invite?
So I was the first, or like 2 weeks ago, and then this week I was not. So I
Okay.
don't know what happened there, but I made it. I made it.
Okay, well, I'm glad you made it. Let me see.
Committed.
I think you're already okay. No, maybe you weren't actually on the list. All right, here, you should get this now, and then I'm gonna invite you. And guys, yeah, I would love to absolutely grow this. If there's anybody here that that you'd like to invite, Avery, feel free to send me some emails later. Are we connected on Instagram at all?
I'll shoot you a follow. Just I'll look it
Yeah,
up.
it's my full
Noah
name,
Friedman.
Noah Friedman.
Cool.
Yep, so I had to send you both invites, but yeah, feel free to invite as many people as you'd like to this. Eventually what we're probably gonna do is turn this more into like, maybe we'll go live on YouTube and do it that way as well. And then we'll have like panelists on, and we'll probably use more of the chat, just because when this thing grows to 300 people, we're gonna have those like random ass people who join and they're unmuted and they're on a sales call or like fighting with their mom or something. And we're all gonna have to be like, dude, mute your mic, come on. And then, you know, it's gonna be kind of a pain in the ass to manage. So, or we'll do presentations out, I don't know. But yeah, feel free to invite anybody you want to send me their emails.
Are you in Austin?
I am in Austin. Are you?
You know Leo Stoggy?
Yeah, I play soccer with him. I just went to a soccer
Nice.
game with him the other day.
Fucking love that guy.
Oh, hell yeah,
He's-
man. Okay, cool. Are you in
Yeah.
Philly?
No, I'm in Colorado, but I met with him in Medellin. Cause do you know Arlen Moore, the one with Tribe?
No,
It's
that's
just another online group, but yeah, we met through there and then met up in Medellin. Such a cool, like down to earth guy.
I love Leo, man. That's super cool. Yeah, we drank Lone Stars out of brown bags and went to a soccer game about don't didn't mean to expose him like that. But yeah, we brown bags some Lone Stars and went to the US versus Panama soccer game like 3 weeks ago together.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's a man, dude. He's a super down to earth guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone's ever in Austin too, let us know and we'll connect and we can all go hang out at Dyson's warehouse.
Fuck yeah.
I'm moving there next year.
Oh,
Oh,
exciting.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're 100% set.
It's happening. I'm gonna go for the month of February, look at apartments, get an Airbnb there, and then probably make the move March or April. I've been in LA for 8 years. I'm out.
Yeah,
So
okay.
yeah.
Florida.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're in LA. You're in LA. Okay.
So speaking of that, that's actually two people that are actually moving to Austin from Dylan's event. There's another guy, I forgot his name, but he also decided to make the move to Austin. Yeah, Noah.
Noah Susan.
Yeah.
That's Noah. Yeah,
Yeah.
other Noah. Ohio
That's
or
awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, it's super cool though. I'm actually moving to New York, or right outside of New York in Hoboken, New Jersey. And when is that? February 13th is I think my last day on my lease here, or the 11th or something. But if you're there earlier, we can do a meetup and get everyone together here in Austin.
Yeah. Sounds good. I should be.
Super cool. Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people here from Serial Sales. Anyone who doesn't know Dylan Vergara, I tried to get him on these. He was on the call last week, didn't have his camera on, being all sketchy, but he's in Tampa this week, so he couldn't make it, but he'll be on one of these too. And we'll do a whole rundown with him. But yeah, with that said, I mean, we still have 7 minutes left here, 6 minutes. Anybody else have any questions they want to dive into?
I have a question just in terms of improvement. I think there's a lot about this industry, no matter kind of where you are. Like you always want to not plateau and just continue to do better. Or, if you hit certain numbers, then you want to double those numbers. And I feel like I'm wondering kind of, would it just be more training? Like what do you guys recommend in the sense of hitting consistent numbers for a few months in a row? And then now I'm kind of like, I do feel like I could be doing more. I don't necessarily want to shift what I'm doing too much because it's working, but I also want to shift it enough so that I could be doing more.
What is more to you? What do you mean by more?
More to me is just like more like better objection handling, closing more deals. Cause I think, first starting off, like you have certain goals for yourself and then you hit those goals and then you hit them consistently. So now I'm like, okay, I know this works to consistently hit these numbers, but now I kind of want to expand past that. And I'm wondering if would you just say it's like more training or, cause I just want to be better always.
Great question. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would say I'll let Bargov talk about investing in himself because he's invested probably my net worth in courses and stuff like that too. He's invested quite a bit in his own self-education, but I would say the number one thing is just reps. Like getting better, exposing yourself and being intentional about taking on new opportunities. Like the reason why I could say, I have stupidly impressive stats in this industry And it's because literally for like 3 years, my head was just down and I was literally on 5 to 8 coaching calls, team meetings a day, meeting with different people. Somebody's like, hey, we're not doing upsells. I'm like, I'll start doing upsells. And I would just start doing upsells. And I closed, you know, $600,000 of upsells in 3 months. Right. And I just went all in on it. Right. So like, it's just finding opportunity to take opportunity. Right. And like, yeah, you can invest in courses, you can do all this, but like, there's forget the term for it. But like it's like pretty there's one term like mental masturbation, right? A lot of people, you read all these courses, you read all these books, you invest in all these different things, and you're like, yeah, I know how to like scale a business to $1 million. And I'm like, okay, what's your business at right now? Well, I haven't started it yet. Right. And then everyone gets all, and then so the biggest thing I would just say to like avoid is over educating without implementation. I would find what a goal of yours is. Like, let's say you want to get better at objection handling, like you just mentioned. I would invest in like I would literally hit up some of your friends who are great closers and be like, throw objections at me. Let's just throw objections at each other back and forth every day. I have 2 friends who run trading coaching offers. They literally trade every morning together. And if they don't show up, they like owe the other person like $500. Like they like hold each other accountable to doing it. So I would say like for me, like, and this is just my experience, I would say primarily just through reps and investing when you see that there's an opportunity and not being afraid to invest in yourself too. I know business owners invest in themselves, and when you're not a business owner, it's like, oh, well, you know, that's for business owners. Everyone should invest in themselves no matter what it is. Barg, I'll let you kind of dive in here too.
Yeah, it's also being hyper specific on what you want to get better at, right? So getting better is so generic. I can get better at standing, I can get better with my posture, I can get better at speaking, but what's the overall outcome, right? Are you looking for increased growth in terms of commissions? Are you looking for better close rates? Are you looking for like, what is that better, right? What is the definition of better? Once you get hyper specific on that, then you're able to figure out, like, there's a really good phrase called who, not how. Like, who already has the version of better of myself that I want, and how can I tap into them to add value to them and gain that skill set in order to get better at that skill set. So for example, when I used to be a closer for like an Amazon automation offer, before I was like decently good, right? Like 15 to 20% close rates. I'm like, okay, I'm good, but like I'm not great, or I'm not the best. So I'm like, okay, who's the best person that I could learn sales to in order to increase my closing increase my closing percentage. And I was very, very set on the North Star being, okay, I want to go from a 15% close rate to a 40% close rate. And next thing you know, went through Jeremy Miner's NEPQ or Cole Gordon's STA. And yeah, of course, close rate started to increase because there's a person that's already been there and done that was guiding me on, okay, you're making this mistake here, instead of doing this, do that. So just get hyper specific on what you want to get better at, and then go out and get resourceful on finding the people that already have that can assist you with achieving that transformation.
Okay, awesome.
And adding to that, I would look at your past 60-day sales. How many were follow-ups? How many follow-ups did they hit to close? How many were objection handling to close? How many were PIFs? How many were second calls? And what you can find out from that data is like, oh, every time I hit a 5th follow, like most of my closes are on the 5th follow-up that I'm doing, but I found a lot of these other calls, I stopped at the 3rd follow-up. So now you know, well, if I just increase my follow-ups more consistently to 5, I'll get to that next percentage. So, I guess that just goes back to data.
Yeah. The big thing is also just asking for help. Like, hey, I'm really struggling with this objection. Like, how do I get better at this? And like also coming to calls like this too. I mean, this is a great way to do it. I mean, we literally have Jonathan on here who's trained. Jonathan, how many sales reps have you trained and managed?
Oh man, at this point, probably like 200 to 300. I managed four companies before starting Sales Igniters, and then just bringing in all those sales and doing call audits, and probably worked with like 15 to 20 different niches now in sales, between fitness, insurance, real estate, coaching. It's one off for AFL, alcohol-free lifestyle. They help C-level executives stop using alcohol to manage stress, and they have a 15 and 25K offer. It's just like some of the weirdest niches, and yeah, they're all different in their own way, but there's always a commonality, for it. Objections, closing, discovery.
Wait, Jonathan, you managed AFL?
Yeah, I coach. I have a lot of closers in there that I coach, so I listen to their.
Dude, James Swanwick was at the mastermind, like where he wants us to consult with him for their from an acquisition or like.
Oh yeah, so Becca Rowland is my connection in there, and she was with Cole Gordon from 80,000 a month all the way up to like 30 million a month. I think she was with them.
I have a call with her tomorrow.
Oh, for real, dude? Just she loves the closers I send her, so just let her know that. She's fantastic. Their setters do like 8K a month there, just as a setter. Yeah. But those calls are deeply emotional. People are crying on the sales calls. Like it's like that kind of deep call. Like the wives or husbands will call and say, "You saved my marriage." Like they're deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So Valentina, did you feel like that was helpful? Do you feel like that kind of gave you some direction on?
Yeah, so helpful. Thank you guys. Just gathering data first and then figuring out just like specifically where it is that could just generate even more or an even higher close rate, et cetera. Cause yeah, I'm very helpful.
Awesome. Yeah. Again, like close rate, and we'll actually go over Dyson. I'll pull up your landing page here. I actually like this. I like these questions, like the landing page review stuff. So yeah, awesome, Valentina. I'm glad that was helpful, and let us know if you have any other questions too. Before we wrap up here, I know we're 2 minutes over. I'm going to go ahead and review Dyson's landing page because I like reviewing landing pages. For anyone who doesn't know too, I used to be a copywriter at a time in my life. I've written over 700 winning ad videos. And I have also done about 400 funnel breakdown call reviews. So I like this stuff. This is fun. All right, cool. So let me see. So Dyson, I'm going to have you unmute yourself too and just kind of walk me through a bit of what I'm looking at and what the exact offer is meant to be. Unless Dyson literally just hopped. Dyson, you still here?
He hopped off.
No, I think he bounced.
All right.
So we could do it next week.
We'll do it next week. All right, cool. Perfect. Well, everybody, thank you so much for hopping on. Again, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, feel free to just hit me up. Just Noah Friedman. Obviously, Bargov is our boy BN Vidula. And then Jonathan is just Jonathan Gallardi. And then from here, I'm also going to go ahead and drop. I have a Telegram group. It's not very active because all of you are not active in it. And also because I'm not active in it. So it's not as active. I can't blame all of you. But let me go ahead and drop the link here. If you want to join in here, it's literally just all of you to just add as much value to each other as possible. Go ahead and drop this. Yeah, Ismail, of course, man. Any week you want to hop on here, we'll be glad to add you guys some value. So I just dropped the link there. If you're not in the Telegram group, go ahead and join it. It's just gonna be a bunch of setters, closers, business owners, all in the high ticket space. Feel free to jam out in there. Only thing is just don't go in there and start pitching people. That's the only thing I ask of you not to do. Other than that, just be cool. And sweet. Yeah. So if no one else has any other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Again, great connecting with all of you, and I will see you all again next week. Peace.